Have you ever caught yourself saying, I always screw this up, or why can't I just get it together? It feels like venting or being honest with yourself, but here's an important fact that we generally don't consider. Your brain is listening. And for women with ADHD, that self-talk is not just background noise. It literally shapes how your brain functions. I'm Sara Kelly. I'm an ADHD coach who works with women who are smart, capable, and successful on the outside, but underneath, they're exhausted from trying to hold it all together. In this video, we're diving into the neuroscience of self-talk. You'll learn why your internal dialogue matters so much more than you might think, how it interacts with your ADHD brain, and what small shifts can help you feel more supported and less stuck. Let me tell you about someone I used to work with. We'll call her Vanessa. Vanessa was a project manager in a fast-paced tech company. She was brilliant at juggling complex timelines and leading her team. But when it came to her own personal tasks, she was constantly overwhelmed. Every time she forgot something small or missed a personal deadline, her self-talk would kick in. Of course, I dropped the ball. I can't even keep up with my own life. And this was even though she was incredibly competent. Her inner dialogue was harsh, and it drained her energy as well as her motivation. She told me, it's like there's a bully living in my head that never shuts up. And here's what I told her. That bully voice of yours, it's not just annoying, it's training your brain to expect failure and stress. So let's talk about what's going on under the hood. In ADHD brains, the amygdala, the part of the brain that processes emotions and threat, is often more reactive. So when you say something harsh to yourself, your brain treats it like an actual threat. And that sets off a stress response. Your heart rate might go up, your motivation crashes, and you go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that helps you plan, regulate emotions, and think things through, is slower to activate in ADHD. So it's harder to pause, question your thoughts, or talk yourself down from that spiral. So if you feel like negative self-talk hits you harder or sticks around longer, it's not in your head. It's your brain wiring. Luckily, brains can change. This is where neuroplasticity comes in. Neuroplasticity is a brain's ability to form new connections based on repeated experiences. That means that the things that you say to yourself over and over actually create well-worn pathways in your brain. So if your self-talk always consists of saying things like, I never finish anything, or I'm a disaster, those circuits get stronger. The more you repeat them, the more automatic they become. But the good news is you can also build new ones, more accurate, compassionate, and useful ones. For example, you might say to yourself, I struggle with follow-through and I'm learning ways to support myself. Or, that was tough, but I made it through. Or maybe even something like, this is hard, but I'm not alone. And those thoughts don't have to be all sunshine and rainbows. They just have to be true and kind, and repeated enough that your brain starts to believe them. So what does this actually look like in practice? Here are 3 tips that actually work for ADHD brains. Number 1, use visual cues to anchor your new self-talk. Write down a few phrases that feel believable and supportive, even if they don't feel 100% comfortable yet. Put them on sticky notes near your workplace, mirror, fridge. This serves as a visual interruption when the negative loop starts. And this works because ADHD brains benefit from external reminders. When you see the phrase, your brain gets a cue to pause and redirect. Number 2, pair a new phrase with a physical action. So when you catch yourself spiraling, try saying, this is a hard moment, not a hard life. And gently touch your chest or exhale deeply, because linking a phrase with a calming action helps it encode more deeply. This works because combining words with movement engages multiple parts of the brain, making the new thought more memorable and grounding. Number 3, track your mental shifts. At the end of each day, jot down one moment where you caught yourself being harsh and you were able to redirect it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just noticing the shift builds awareness. So why does this work? Reflection builds metacognition. ADHD brains often move fast, and slowing down to track progress strengthens those new neural pathways. If you're nodding along and wondering how to change this in your own life, that's exactly the work I do with my clients. We go beyond just think positive and look at the real neuroscience, real emotions, and real strategies that support actual change. If you're curious, you can book a free discovery call with me. There is a link below in the description of this video. Let's talk a little bit about motivation, because self-talk isn't just about emotions. It also affects your ability to start and follow through. Motivating self-talk tends to be forward-looking. It offers solutions and hope, even in small doses. It might sound something like, okay, that didn't work. What's one small thing I can try now? Or I know I get stuck here. Maybe I need to break this down even further. Or I'm not lazy. This is my ADHD and I'm learning what helps. This kind of language supports dopamine production, and dopamine is a neurotransmitter tied to motivation and reward. Since ADHD brains often have less consistent dopamine, this kind of talk actually gives your brain the signal to keep trying. But if your self-talk is shame-based, like I'm never going to get this, your brain hears that and prepares to fail. And then it shifts into avoidance. That's why you might suddenly feel tired, fuzzy, or frozen. It's not a personal flaw. It's a biological response to perceived threat. And this is where positive psychology tools can be so helpful, and not in a toxic positivity way, but in a grounded, evidence-based way. Things like reflecting on your strengths and how you've used them in tough times. Getting curious about the beliefs that you've absorbed about yourself. Learning how to pause and ask, is a thought helping me or hurting me? In ADHD coaching, we use models like the power of the pause and filtering beliefs to help clients do exactly that. It creates just enough space to challenge the automatic script and choose something more helpful. Vanessa started practicing this during our sessions. At first, it felt awkward, but over time, she noticed that pausing to say, I'm having a hard moment instead of I suck at everything actually changed how long she stayed stuck. She also started using a talk-back journal. So whenever she noticed a negative thought, she'd write it down. And then she'd respond to it like she would a friend. And by doing this helped her externalize the inner critic and practice speaking to herself with more understanding. And that shift, that's what builds self-trust. That's what rewires the brain. So if there's one thing that I want you to take from this, it's this. Your self-talk is not just mental commentary. It's a tool. A really powerful one, and it can either wear you down or help lift you out of the fog. Now, if you're ready to stop battling with your brain and actually start working with it, let's talk. You can book a free discovery call with me below. No pressure, just a chance to see what support could look like for you. And remember, the goal isn't to be perfectly positive. It's to be kind enough and curious enough and consistent enough that your brain starts believing a different story. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next one.